This is actually part 4, not part 3, as I said in the last video. All right, let's get into what me and you can do simply to extinguish and shrink hate. Like I said before, it ain't complicated, it ain't difficult. It ain't easy though. It will take time. It will take time. We all can do it. I don't think I would have been where I was today if I hadn't been through what I'd been through. I wouldn't be doing all the work I did. If I didn't see my hate face to face consume me as it did with Donald Trump, I literally hated the man. I thought he was the essence of evil. He was Hitler with a comb over, whatever you want to call it, man. And I thought his supporters were just despicable too. And that misunderstanding, assumption, lack of knowledge led to me losing my cool, led to me being in jail, led to me almost leaving my freedom and going to prison. But I came out of that hole and I realized, man, hate drags you down, consumes you, and brings things out of you possibly that you would never imagine. Never done anything like I did with that man. Never went after somebody like that. You can do that. The thing is, it doesn't hate drag you down, takes your energy way more than the person you hate, I promise you. And I could see that with Trump. So I realized that. Realized I had to do something about it. So it really changed the DNA. It really flipped who I was as a person. Where I started trying to understand people that really saw the world different than me. Pretty liberal-minded person, but I decided I was going to start talking to people that I never would give the time of day. Not just Trump supporters, but KKK members. Talk to white supremacists. Talk to former neo-Nazis. Lots of homeless people I've talked to. Drug addicts, felons. See their humanity. It's all there like we talked about before. Understand their side of the equation. So I got rid of that hate that I had for people. The biggest hate we have to worry about is this political stuff right now. It's brewing to be something much worse than it is now. Much worse than the Capitol riots if we don't get this in control. And it's within all of us to make it happen. Not an easy process, but a simple process. And I'm going to tell you what I did originally and what you can do. The first thing I did is I started listening to other news sources. I started listening to Fox News, man. I hated Fox News. I didn't believe a damn thing they said. So I started listening to Fox News. So if you listen to CNN, listen to Fox News. It ain't hard. It ain't gonna be easy to listen to it, but you need to listen to understand the perspective. And if you listen to Fox News, you need to listen to CNN. The same respect the other way. And I started connecting with people on social media who saw the world different. Listening and hearing what they had to say through their posts and stuff. While they wasn't all accurate, I got to understand their perspective. Because I can tell you, through my hate of Trump, I lost a couple of friends permanently and some really good ones for a short time. But I've been worked really hard and I've gotten back to be friends with those people. But never could have done it if I didn't go through what I did. And the last thing I did, actually the third thing I did, is I grabbed books about stuff I didn't understand, other perspectives, so I could read it in book form. Anybody can do this. It ain't complicated. It ain't easy. It's going to take some time to read that book, go through it. It's worth it. The last thing and most important thing is I talked to people who saw the world different than me face to face. Most notably, I remember the first Trump supporter I talked to face. I'm a huge country music fan. I hated country music 4 years ago. I had so many assumptions about that. Man, I'm wrong about that. Really cool music if you ever get to listen to it. Don't have to, but I love it. I never thought I'd say that. One of the guys I love is Eric Church. Love him to death. My wife does not like country music. She tolerates it. My kids don't get it. So I went to this concert all by myself. I drove 2 hours to this place called Mohegan Sun, this casino, to see Eric Church. Like all concerts, I got there early. Got about 30 minutes early. Sit in the chair. A lot of conservative people all around me. Probably my old days, I would just sat there, looked at my phone, gone through social media, maybe taken some pictures, maybe called some friends. But tell you what, with the guy next to me, he was definitely a conservative person. There was no doubt. I'd overhearing him what he was saying. I'd seen his shirt, and it's clear he was. So I started a conversation with him. We started talking about country music, Eric Church, which led to talking, and Kenny Chesney led to talking about football. We talked about football, which led to talking about how important it was to our family, which led to talking about family, how much we love America. Family stuff led to us talking about his wife. Turns out his wife had cancer, went through a battle with her. She eventually died. We talked about the humanity of that, all those things that we share, which got us to have this common ground, this basically structure, foundation, so we could talk about other stuff. He started talking about politics. He started talking about things he liked about Trump. I didn't like hearing it, but I listened to it. And how he felt about him, things he thought he was doing right in this country and all this. And I got to understand Trump from a different perspective and how people like him, the things he's doing, how this guy was a good guy. And that was my first immersion, dunking myself into people that I disagree with completely, but found the humanity of him. We actually probably would have become friends for long term. We talked for a long time, had a great time. So that's what I did. That's what we need to do. That's what you need to do. I do even more now. Through that, you may know already, I have a movement called Hug It Out America. I'll go around. I've hugged people in 23 states. When this virus is over, I'm going to go to the 27. I have a radio station. Well, I can't wrap my arms around America. I wrap my ears around America, called Hug It Out America Live. I've talked to neo-Nazis on that thing. I've talked to people about Trump supporters. I've talked to felons, drug addicts, all kinds of people. I do the same thing in the real world. And now I have a gallery, One Love, where people come in my gallery, where I've had actual sex offenders come in my gallery and share their story because they feel open. And I find humanity in them. That's a really tough thing to do. I have 2 daughters, and that's tough, but I do it. I do it. I'm not saying you got to do that. I'm not saying you got to do that. But I'm saying we got to leave the bubbles that we live in, where we come up with these tribal ideas and we just hear in our ear what we want to hear over and over and over and over. And we think that is the only reality, and it's not. And we don't understand who people really are, whether they're Trump supporters, anybody else. We got to leave our bubbles, leave our comfortable spaces, which is not easy. It's not difficult, but we can do it. It's not easy. Have these conversations, read these books, watch these news shows, go on social media and understand people. And we do that. We get rid of these self-assumptions, these false assumptions, this ignorance, this lack of understanding, becoming understanding somebody who they are, which melts it, which never gets to that fear point, which never gets to hate, which never gets to destruction. You never get to that point, or you can reverse and get rid of that stuff like I did with gay people. I got rid of that stuff, so all that hate disappeared. You can do it in you. Get rid of it. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. It ain't going to be easy. Take a lot of time with you one-on-ones. It can happen one person at a time, just like that clover. Like those shark's teeth. I had to dig and dig for those shark's teeth in the sand. But I find that shark's tooth, find that beautiful thing with people, that humanity. And then I find that, and then the next person, maybe I have to dig and dig and dig more in the sand and find the, but it's there. It's going to take work. It ain't complicated, but we all can do it. One conversation, one hug at a time, y'all. It's on me. It's on you. Politicians ain't going to do this for us. It's going to take time. That's how we get through hate. That's how we get rid of hate. Getting rid of those things by immersing themselves in who they are, not making fun of them, saying you hate them, they're evil, all these things we want to talk about. That's it, y'all. That's how we simply get rid of hate. Ain't easy, but I hope you endeavor and join me on this journey in your life. It's going to take all of us to get rid of this hate we got going in this country, especially political. We don't want anything worse than Capitol riots happen. We don't start understanding each other, it will not happen. I promise you that. So one love, y'all. Take care. I got to get back to my kids. Bye-bye.